presentation, Stopping the Cyber Bad Guys. Something that I found out about the past 2 days, there is now an organization which is setting up a counter phishing. Their whole job is to go in, and the list of telephone calls you get, the guy with a very distinct Indian accent that wants to sell you something, the whole business is to break into these guys' network and steal back the money they've stolen from you. So far, they have recovered in 1 month over $1 million from different people. One guy was $10,000. Computer Lexicon. Now we're getting into the real meat of the meeting, so to speak. By the way, just to let you know something that happened, when Barry decided to join my phone network, you notice I didn't have to give him a password.
Well, you did.
I did not have to write it down and hand it to him. I didn't have to go over and type it in.
Yeah,
I didn't have to broadcast it.
I needed a password.
Yeah.
He didn't have to
What happened was, with everything on the same computer network, when he asked to tried to join, on my iPad and on my phone, I got a dialog box that came up and said, "Do you want to share your password with him so he could log in?" I said yes. It transmitted, encrypted the password to Barry. He never saw it, and he's on the network. So if you have a network at home, you can do that. If you have friends come over and want to use and they have a Mac, when they go to join your network, it will come up and say, "Do you want to let them join?" If you say yes, it joins. They never see the password, and every time they come back, it'll automatically join. I still don't know what the password is for my daughter's network at her house. Went there the first time, we installed a network, came up and said, "Do you want to share it with me?" And she said yes. And ever since then, I go in there and share it. It's a real nice feature you don't often hear about. Okay, let's talk about our 2 terms this month are spam and phishing. What is spam? Spam, first and foremost, is unsolicited. That means you did not ask for it. This is different, usually commercial messages, such as emails, text message, internet postings, mail in your mailbox, sent to a large number of recipients or posted in large numbers of places. This is from Webster's definition, best one I found so far. Keyword here is unsolicited. Now, you can join a mailing list and get mailings, but in that case, you requested it, which means you can go up and unsubscribe to it. And we're going to be talking about unsubscribing, so hold your questions on that one. Any questions on what spam is? Just remember that unsolicited spam quite often is bogus. Don't trust it. Let's talk about phishing. Phishing, spelled Phishing, is a practice of tricking internet users, that's us, through the use of deceptive email, messages, or websites into revealing personal or confidential information. Examples: name, address, email address, social security number, bank routing information, credit card numbers, birth dates, anything about you. Pardon?
Mother's maiden name.
Oh, yes. Which can then be used quite often. What they're doing is trying to get identity theft information. There was one I heard of a while back that I have to commend them for what they did. They established about 6 different sites, and you would get different emails from different companies, and each one of them would ask for different information. Putting it all together, I believe it's called collective intelligence, that separate, it's meaningless. Altogether, they were able to have a profile of you, and they were able to get phone numbers, mailing addresses, email addresses, credit card numbers, passwords. Very ingenious. A common phishing scam involves sending emails that appear to come from banks requesting recipients to verify their account by typing personal details, such as credit card information, into a website that has been disguised to look like the real thing. Such scams can be thought of as phishing for naive recipients. This is what we're going to be talking about today, how to identify this and what to do about it. Some things to consider. Remember these. Memorize these. You did not. We're talking about email now, text messages. You did not win anything. You did not get a high dollar gift card for a survey. I will tell you, there are legitimate surveys that give $5 gift cards. I know because I get them all the time. But if you get an email message saying, "You've just gotten a $100 gift card for finishing this survey," it's bogus. You did not inherit money from a Nigerian prince. Got news for you. Didn't happen. This one is very Have a friend stuck in Heathrow Airport. 20 years ago, I was sitting at home playing on my computer, and I get an email message through Facebook from a very dear friend of mine. I am stuck in Heathrow. Please help me. I need $100 so I can get food and a place to stay. Can you help me? I said, hold it, was not surprised that she'd asked me. I was surprised that I had no idea she was traveling out of the country. I went and emailed her, not through Facebook, regular email. Within 20 minutes, I got a call. What are you talking about? I'm not in London. This was the first time I'd ever seen a Facebook scam. That is the most notorious one of all, the Heathrow Airport.
Here it's more likely I'm stuck in Mexico.
I have not seen that one. Okay.
A friend of mine that I used to work with, he actually got one contacted from supposedly a friend of his, and they actually scraped Facebook and got enough details about the guy that they were actually able to sound convincing. Of course, he then directly called up his friend and said, seriously, are you? He said, no.
Oh, by the way, Facebook messages, be very suspect. If you get a message from somebody you have not heard from in a long time, it is probably not them. Owe money for something you did not buy. Norton subscriptions for $311.57. Bogus. If you did not order it, it don't work. Now, most of the time what you're going to get is messages from a company saying, you need to renew your subscription. Please visit our website. And I'll show you how to make sure that you know where you're going. But you'll not get one saying you owe this much money. The last bullet, I want everyone to memorize. It is a mantra. You will be quizzed on this. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. Okay.
One thing, on my phone, I have it set up whitelist, which means that if you're not on my contact list, it goes straight to voicemail. I just got one yesterday, and it said that it came from Bisbee, from a local number, and I actually got a voicemail, which is unusual. And I listened to it, and it was 1 minute of, we're going to make it easy for you to pay off your student loan.
Yeah.
And it went on for 1 minute about paying off my student loan. And then at the end, it actually said, I'll wait until you're done here because I don't want you to spray the screen. At the end, it said, oh, by the way, if you don't have a student loan, then just disregard this message.
I got one of those. The first one I got was like about 10 years ago. I've had my student loan paid off for years. So I called them because they said, your default on your student loan. So I called them. I said, but I don't have a student loan. Oh, well, just disregard this. Okay, here is a major topic. Most of you have seen the subscribe to mailing list, and you'll see an email message where it says you can unsubscribe to it. Here is the question, to unsubscribe or not? That is a very good question. These are my opinions on the subject. These are not gospel. They're not edicts. They're not court orders. It's my opinion. If you join the mail list, you can unsubscribe with no problem. Like our mail list. If you want to unsubscribe, we don't sell our mail list to anybody. I don't even know who's on the mail list. If you did not subscribe to the mail list, this is where it gets interesting. If you recognize a company as one you frequent, then yes. So if you see that the mail list come in, I get them from, it's a famous online clothing. I can't remember the name of it right now. But I get the mailings from them all the time. I don't ever remember. My wife is probably the one who subscribed to it. Yeah. Now, this is the important part. If you do not recognize the company, then do not unsubscribe, because this is what happens. There are people out there that gather email addresses and sell them to companies to send out bulk mailing. If you unsubscribe, that tells them you exist. This is a good email address. They'll turn around and sell it as a verified email address. Because a lot of them, they go and they'll farm email addresses. That's why you never want to forward a message with email addresses in it, because at some point it's going to get to somebody who's going to take and copy those and sell email lists. And there's pretty good money in that. What happens is if you do not respond, do not visit the website, eventually you'll be taken off that list. So if you don't recognize them, don't unsubscribe. I tried this once to make sure that, so I went and unsubscribed. Within 3 days, I went from getting about bogus email lists, to over 1,000. Yeah, and it's taken me, I still get about 300 bogus emails a day. Any questions on that? That is the mantra. That's your second mantra. Don't unsubscribe unless you know the company. We're going to talk about spam. First one, Barry's got, let's see, what's my next? Okay, we're going to talk about text messages. I talk about the Publishers Clearinghouse. We'll talk about that one right now. You'll get a phone call. or actually it starts off with a text message informing you that you have won Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes. Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes is a legitimate, they really do exist, they really give out money. However, they do not contact you prior. They will come to your home, ring the bell, and keep coming back until you answer. They do not contact you via text message. They do not contact you via email. In some cases, if they've made 8 or 9 visits, they will send a registered letter to the postal department. Other than that, and you always win Publishers Clearinghouse, you always win money. You do not get a new brand new BMW. We have a member got involved with this scam. Fortunately, she called me because what they're trying to do is to get you to write them a cashier's check for $600 to cover the taxes on the new BMW, and people fall for it. We're going to talk about wrong text number scam, fake surveys. The wrong text number scam, I'll cover that one because I don't think I have a slide on that one. You'll get a text message from somebody saying, hi, I'll just use, hi Sarah, how are you doing? Hi Joe, how you doing? That's not who I am, and I write back and say, I'm afraid you have the wrong number. They will start a conversation up with you. And this can go on for quite a while, and they'll be, at some point, they'll try and get personal information out of you. So be very leery. The most notorious on this one is they go after men, and these are porn girls, trying to get you to visit their porn sites. I used to get these like 3 or 4 a day. I couldn't understand, where were they getting my phone number from? Then I realized that on my Facebook account, my phone number was listed. I'd totally forgotten about that. As soon as I took that off my Facebook account, I've gotten 1 since then. What they're doing now is they're using auto dialers. They'll put in an area code and a prefix, and it'll just generate message after message after message, waiting for a response to come back. So here's the mantra. If it's too good to be true, it's fake. Text messages. Well, let's take a look at this text message. It's from a number I don't recognize because you notice up at the top that it shows, I'm going to see, come on, give it to me. That's not my contact, so I don't know them. Look at the wording. That's not good English. Great Noti, you were just selected to test and keep a TV 82-inch. You get to keep it. Wow, okay, but look at, what kind of URL is that? It's no company I know. Here's another one. Your closest low delivered a Noti to your device. I have no idea. These are honest to goodness text messages. Okay, these are taken off my phone. Bogus phone number. Terrible English. It's a good indication they're bogus. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. You can get up to a 100-inch TV set now. Not easily, but you can get them. Those are designed for small movie theaters. They're not commercially available yet for the general public. I have seen them. The definition is phenomenal. Okay, let's take a look at some more. Once again, phone number. Now, this is second and last something. We will block your gadget promptly. Please clean up spam messages. Scan instantly. When this one came in, I was laughing so hard, I was in tears. Yes, you go to that site, you have to create a login to get there. If you are on a Windows or an Android phone, listen carefully. These type of text messages can actually read your device once you get that website. On the iPhone and the Mac, they cannot. So, Mac and iPhone, if you want to visit the site and take a look at it, on a text message, chances are you're going to be okay. You may end up getting a web-based malware. Androids and Windows, it can be devastating. A friend of mine who's got an Android phone, didn't follow my advice. She went up to it, and it showed them downloading her contacts. And she called me and she says, is this normal? No. Okay. Barry, whenever you feel like.
Mike, I have my phone settings for what he mentioned as a whitelist, which in the iPhone settings app, scroll to the phone, you can scroll down and there's this silence unknown callers item. That means if the phone call that's coming in is from someone that's not in your contact, then it will not ring. It'll go immediately, it'll push it immediately to voicemail. That's what it means by a whitelist. So the only calls you'll be able to receive are people that you know, that you have manually put into your contact. And if they leave a voicemail message, which is often not the case, as Mike said, it's unusual for these scamming ones to leave a voicemail, but you'll also get a notification that you have a voicemail once there's a voicemail there. So I figure if it's a legitimate person trying to get a hold of me that I don't know or haven't put into my contact, they will leave a message and then I can call them back. But if it's like one of these scam things, then I don't even get the phone to ring, and I'm not interrupted by something that's trying to take advantage of me or just wasting my time.
I strongly recommend that if you have an iPhone, you turn that on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's just okay. So if I'm on the home screen and you're gonna open the settings app, and then you want to scroll your list until you find the section of apps where you find the phone app, and then go into the phone app setting, and then scroll down again, and it's in the third from the bottom group from the bottom, silence unknown callers, and it's just an on-off switch, and it has a little explanation about how it works there if you have more questions about it. That's the first thing I do having to do with phone calls. But with text messages, well, actually I have a tip that I got years ago. Phone blocking my camera there, sorry. There was a publication called Macworld, and there was a writer called Chris Breen who now works for Apple, probably in the marketing department because he was a writer, but we don't hear from him anymore because he's behind the Apple silence wall. But when he worked for Macworld magazine, he wrote a column called 911 Mac. Somebody else has taken it over now. But one of the tips that he shared in that column years and years and years ago, was early in the iPhone era, was how he dealt with spam calls. And it was before this feature where you could turn off the thing. There is a way of blocking callers. There always has been a way of blocking a number. And you can do that on an individual contact basis. But what he did, and I just followed his example, he created a contact specifically for this and named it Sir Spam-A-Lot, which I just did it. I even made my custom little contact icon for it. and then anytime he got a spam call or text message, he just added it to this particular contact, and you can see over the years I have hundreds of numbers in here, but at the very bottom of the contact there is a it's already set up this way, but you can block this caller. I think you have to go into edit mode to see it. It's just got so many things in it, it just keeps scrolling. I don't know why it auto scrolls. Anyway, if it's already blocked, but if it wasn't blocked, it would have an item called block this caller. So if I go to another person that's not blocked, not a block this caller, maybe I still have to go to edit. I wonder if they've taken that out. I don't see that block this caller button anymore. Oh, okay. Anyway, so that was what I was doing up until fairly recently. Was anytime I'd get a text message or a phone call like this, and the ones that are now silenced, they still show up in my recents list. So every now and then I'll go into my recents and go in and add it to my Spam-A-Lot. So here's an unknown call, who it's from. Yeah, see, there's a block this caller for that one, but if I can add to an existing contact since I've already set it up, and I go Sir Spam-A-Lot, oops, not sit, it'll add it to the bottom of the list. Yeah, I created that. And then if I update that contact, now that recent shows up as Sir Spam-A-Lot. Now, in messages, here's an example of one of those ones that John was just talking about. Where did it go here? Oh, this is a text message from some unknown number thinking my name is Hitchcock. James is trying to get a hold of Hitchcock. Anyway, I think this is iOS 16. I'm not sure. I remember seeing it before this, but now you'll notice underneath the message, the sender is not in your contact list, is a button for report junk. What this does, when you tap that, it'll send a report to Apple, who I think passes these on. but it'll also delete this message out of your message. No, it's just iOS 16 is when this came into effect.
And we'll talk about where they can.
Yeah, so I've started doing that instead of going through all the gyrations of adding them to a blocked content. So now it's more I just tap on that one button and then they go away and they get reported. And because when I do for spam a lot, it blocks it for me, but it doesn't report it as a spam bot. So anyway, so that's my little tips about how I handle these kinds of things and those.
Examples of phishing. You have two different types of phishing. You have businesses, and the people will seem to be people you know, sending you, anytime you get an email asking you for something, the name may be right, but look at the email address. And we're going to take a look at that in the upcoming video. Don't go by the name alone. Go by the actual email address to see if it's from them. Same with businesses. Websites, look at the URL. And I'm going to show you some examples that are really well done. Fake surveys. Be very careful when taking surveys. There are some legitimate surveys out there. But if you go up to a survey and they ask you right up front for personal information, be leery of it. Now, a legitimate survey waits until you're finally done and saying, would you like to be entered into a drawing for X? And it's normally a $5 or $10, sometimes it's a $100 gift card. And the one with a $100 gift card, I know it's legit. It's Barclays Bank. I get them. Barclays is one. It's from them. It's their URL. And I actually won a $100 gift card from them. I couldn't believe it. All of a sudden, I get this, an email message saying you've won a $100 gift card. And I looked at the email address and it said, okay, it's from Barclays Bank. So it went up, I followed the link, and it took me to a legitimate Amazon gift card site, and it was a $100 gift card. But I was very leery of it. Okay, fake giveaways. They'll do anything to get your information. Anytime you see one of these, and if you follow it and they start to ask you for information, especially money to get a prize, it's not legit. In some states, Arizona is not one of them, that if you win an automobile as part of a drawing, before you can get the automobile, you have to pay the state tax. It will not be a check made out to whomever. It will, if you do write a check, it will be to the Arizona Department of Revenue is who it goes to, is specific form. Arizona is not one of those. In Arizona, you pay the tax after you get the car, not before. In some states, it's before. Unidentified phone calls. Phone calls asking for information, like student debt. What they're doing is trying to find people who have a student debt, so you'll take a high interest loan out from them. How to identify phishing? First off, if it's an email message or it's a phone call, look to see who it's from. If the text message is supposedly from somebody you deal business with or somebody you know, but the phone number is not in your contacts, email address, and we'll show you how to look at the actual email address. The URL for the site. If you get an email message allegedly from Amazon to go visit a site and the URL taking you to that site is not Amazon.com, it's probably not legit. Asking you for unnecessary information such as credit card numbers. One of my best ones is FedEx. You have received a package in which you owe money on. You follow the link and ask for a credit card. I almost fell for that one because I had a FedEx package that had duty due on it. So that's what I thought I'd gotten. And I went up to the site and I noticed there was something odd about the site. I couldn't put my finger on it. And then I looked at the URL. Son of a gun, this is not FedEx. Don't give out your bank routing. Anytime anybody asks me for bank routing, that raises a flag with me. Because once you do that, they can go in and take every cent you own. And you can't stop them. And the bank does not cover it. Credit cards, they will. Bank routing information, they don't.
Probably want to update that also with the cash apps then. Like I understand Zelle, which is a cash app that was created by a consortium of banks, it also does not have any of the protections of a credit card. So if you are using Zelle and you accidentally send money to someone that other than you intend, it's gone.
Yes.
And banks will not help you.
That's the problem with Zelle. And if you don't do business with somebody who says that you've done something, it's probably phishing. Now, how to identify fake email? I got a video on this one. In this video, we're going to look at how to determine if an email is legitimate or if the email is spam or phishing for information. There are 3 steps. First, we look at the from addressee. Does it match the body of the email? That is, if the email is from Walmart, but the return address is from something completely different, that should raise a flag. In this example, the body of the email does not seem to specify any organization, and the return address is from a PC magazine in the United Kingdom. This alone should raise a flag that this email is not legitimate. The chances are that this email is spam. But let's continue. Step 2, we next look at the to addressee. If it is not you, then definitely it's spam or phishing. In this case, it is, so we continue. The last step is to look at the body of the email. Is the language correct English? Is the product or organization one that you are using or doing business with? If there is a link in the body of the email, there is a trick you can do in iOS. You can preview the site without actually going to the site. This is a safe procedure. Long click on the URL in the message. This shows the URL. In this case, it is nonsense. So almost for sure it's spam or phishing. We can tap the URL window and it will open a preview of the site. And we can see if most likely a phishing expedition making a claim to get compensation for a possible legitimate endeavor. The email is not legit. Delete the email. Now we're going to take a look at another example and go through all the steps. Got this email coming in. It says, answer and win a brand new Apple Watch. It says it's from the Postal Service. So let's check the from line addressee. And as you can see, that is not the Postal Department. ArcConsoleCommands.com. Okay, the subject is just a number. I have no idea what that means. Let's take a look and see. Yep, it's sent to me. The reply to makes absolute sense, and we can come down and check. And it's ArcConsoleCommands.com. I have no idea who that is. And it's bogus letters up here. We've got a URL here. I'm going to check the URL, and it brings me up a preview, and it's omachupeng.com. No idea who it is. It says United States Mail Survey. I don't think so. This looks pretty bogus to me, and there's, bogus emails from people being verified, but by who saying what. I don't think this is legit. And so they want you to unsubscribe by clicking here. Let's see, get a preview of what that does. Submit your email address. It looks, a very good job of looking legit. However, I really don't think so. There's nothing about this to show that it's legitimate, so I'm going to trash it. And for our last example, we're going to take a look at one last one. And this is an email that came in. It says, it's from Disney Gift Card, but we take a look at the address. It's from DisneyGiftCard.com. That could be actually pretty legitimate. Let's see what they're asking for. It's got a very nice subject. It is to my daughter. And yes, it's to her address, all right. We take a look at the URL, and it's Disney. It's the same outfit it says they are. And I want to see they're not asking, they're asking us to shop for a gift card. So let's take a look at shopdisney.com. I know that is a legitimate Disney site. So I think this one is legitimate because it's asking me, I don't have to sign in, but it's allowing me to if I want to. And so let's go to sign in and see what it shows. Disney account, Shop Disney. Let's just double check it. Shop, yep, this looks like a legitimate for gift cards.
Let's take a look at some websites. This, by the way, is extremely common on Android phones. Not so much on iPhone. Attention, viruses found. Your phone is severely damaged by 39 viruses. Soon your phone's SIM card will be corrupted. It will be damaged. Your contacts, photos, data, blah, 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 blah. No, don't work that way. You notice here's the message, allegedly from McAfee. But notice that the URL down at the bottom says plethora.com. That's not McAfee. What they want you to do is to spend $495 to fix the viruses on your phone. The fixing process to download all the information off your Android phone can't happen on an iPhone. iOS will not let you do that. Here's another one. U.S. Postal Service. This one looks pretty good, except, as a reminder, it informs you that your shipment, which is nothing like a postal number, is still pending instructions from you. Confirm the payment for second delivery costs. Notice the $2.99 USD. They use the European comma instead of the U.S. decimal point. Center is spelled with the English. Please do not reply to this email to get in touch with us. Click Help and Contact. Notice copyright 1999-2022. You lowercase PS Inc. All rights reserved. Located at 2211 North First Street, San Jose, California. This number right here almost is a postal number. Almost. And by the way, 2211 North First Street, San Jose is a post office. I went and checked it out of curiosity. Not legitimate. Good start, but you need to look and see what you're getting. This is the most important slide of the presentation, and I'm actually going to finish right on time. What happens if you get bogus emails? First thing you do is if it's a company you do business with and you determine it's bogus, forward that email to fraud with the company name. You have to look it up. Like American Express, it's fraud at americanexpress.com. Chase, it's fraud at chase.com. Wells Fargo, it's all fraud at. They will take that, and if it asks you to include anything, include everything. They will take that and use the routing information, which you normally can't see, to find out where it came from. This is new as of this morning. There is now a government agency that has been formed to handle this nonsense. It's usa.gov. There it is. This is where you report it. Where to report scams. COVID-19 scams are running rampant. Identity theft, imposter scams, unemployment scams. There is now a government website that you can go to and report them. It is part of the Federal Trade Commission. FTC used to have a section on their website. They now have an entire page devoted to it. Yeah, Tony? .gov. That tells you immediately it's government. No one else is allowed to use that domain. That's the best way to find out, by looking at the domain. It could be anything before the .gov, and it'll be a government website. Arizona.gov. Actually, with Arizona, it's something.az.gov. California, it's .ca.gov. .gov, is good. That is a domain that is restricted. You have to be a government agency in order to use it. It is very tightly controlled, and you can't break into there's no way to break into it. It's like beta.us. That is my domain. You cannot use that domain without my explicit permission. And believe me, I've had phishing trying to get use of it. Can't happen. .gov, for sure, that's how you know it's good. If you do not see the .gov and they're pretending to be a government agency, especially if it's supposed to be from the IRS, asking you for money. IRS does not send email messages.
something.gov.com. It's got to be at the end.
Yes. Technically, if they try and do a .gov.com, it will be stopped before it ever gets to you. So that's who you report it to. What happened to my presentation? Use that link, and in the description, I'll have that link actually published for you. Any questions or discussion on anything we've talked about? Questions or discussion? With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much. Not bad timing, within 10 minutes. You all take care, and everyone have a wonderful Thanksgiving.